The ministry that you have been called to is a very important one. It's a very sensitive one. And just as Na and Linda mentioned, it's a very sensitive ministry. It's a very important ministry. I know that for most of us, we think that once you're an usher, your duty is to, tell people where to sit. And it even shows sometimes in the kind of questions that we're asking. I'm dealing with someone who is sitting down, someone who is difficult. What do I do? Because for a lot of you, that's what you think. That's what we envision what an usher is supposed to be. But an usher is a spiritual ambassador of the church. You're the first point of contact. Anyone who comes and is looking for edify, as soon as I get here, the first person I'm going to meet is an usher. Right? So let me just bring this home. Just like Reverend said, if I come to your house, I won't open the gate for myself. Once I blow the horn, somebody opens the gate for me. So if I go to Reverend's house, I'm sure maybe if he doesn't open the gate for me himself, someone will open the gate. Welcome. Please, who are you looking for? If it was in my home, that's what you would ask. So you bring it back to the church. That's how you start with the duties of an usher. You are a host. In Cornerstone, we call it the host team because our host team doesn't just involve ushers. So we have our ushers. We have those we call the greeters. So usually at the entrance of the church, you realize that there are people who will meet you there, the welcome people. They meet you there. We have the car park attendants. Their job is very, very important. We cannot underestimate them. The car park attendants are very important. Sometimes, even just the way you tell someone to park can put the person off. And you will see people, I've worked in the banking industry for a while, so sometimes just for customer complaints, some of the complaints you get, the security man did not talk to me well. And it's very, very normal, very common for people to be upset with the bank just because the security man said I should park in a certain kind of way. But I believe that once you are dealing with a human institution, some of these things are very normal, but it's important to know how to deal with some of these things. So sometimes I tell the security men, explain to the customer, in the banking system, we have a policy of reverse parking, which means that you cannot go and park in the bank with your back. The reason for this is it's a security feature most of us may not know. Because if someone wants to steal money, as soon as they sit in their car, they are turning. And that's why you don't park in the reverse in the banking system. But for someone who doesn't understand, and maybe that's your comfortable way of parking, you would enter and you want to park that way, and the security man will be like, Madam, men park sometimes the way people may talk, it will just upset you and it just sets off your mood. So just imagine somebody has come. And then, one of the things personally I don't like is when, I'm asked to, not even asked, I go somewhere and then I'm parking. Sometimes the security man is just standing there watching you. He'll wait for you to finish parking and you say no. Sometimes I'm like, why do you have to wait for me to finish parking? Just show me what you wanted me to do or something like that. So the car park attendants are very important. The ushering team is consistent of the car park attendants, greeters, we have the host team, we have the welcome team, which Na spoke about, we have the first timers as well. So for car park attendants, please make sure you are visible when anybody gets. And let me just say this: let's not limit our ministries to Sundays. It's very important. A lot of us Christians are doing it. And it's not just to ushers. So I'm happy there are people here who may not necessarily be ushers. Let's not limit our service to Sundays. Even if you're having a program like this, let there be somebody at the car park who is showing, someone where to park, or at least to identify that you have gotten to your destination. Because I may use Google Maps and it will bring me and it will say, you are here. But if I get here, you're not looking. But if there was somebody at the car park to say, hello, welcome to Edify Church. You can park here. The church, that's the entrance, that's the exit. So car park attendants are very important in the ushering space. Let's make sure that we train them how to talk to people, how to direct people, how to let them park, because you are setting the tone for the service for that person. The person comes and, you talk to the person anyhow, then the person is upset the whole service. He's upset that somebody didn't talk to him well, or they didn't let him park where he wanted to. So it's very important that we train these people. And then we have the greeters, people at the entrance, like I said. When you enter a church, when you enter someone's house, you want someone to say something nice to you. So welcome to church. It's good to see you in the house of God. You are looking gorgeous. You are looking beautiful. You are looking handsome. We have the greeters. Then we have the ushers in the main auditorium most of the time, showing you where to sit. And just from the questions that have been asked, I can see that it's an area of concern for most of us. But thank you, Na, and thank you, Linda, for touching on some of the very important points, dealing with difficult congregants. It's important that we are trained on how to speak, because just like I said, sometimes it's just explaining to the person. For most churches, we have a section for nursing mothers. Most churches, the adult church, you are not allowed to bring your child. You know, some people will come and, for instance, you may have someone who will come with their child, not because they don't want to leave their child. Sometimes it may be a child with special needs. So it's important that you listen and you pick certain things. Like Nas said, when someone enters and is with a child, don't immediately say, oh, madam, no children allowed. No. You have to find a nice way of explaining that, you know, this service has been put together with you in mind. We want you to have a good experience. We have a children's church where the child will also be taken care of. If the person goes on to explain that, oh, you know, maybe this and this and this, my child has special needs, so maybe it's my first time, he may not be used to, you have to be understanding. Let's find a way to seat that person. And one of the things you need to remember is that nothing is cast in stone. In as much as we are in church, you know, Ghanaians are very rigid. If you know, Ghanaians are very rigid. You know, they said we should do it this way. But you have to make room for people. You have to make room for things. And I think Nas spoke about it. Take initiative. It's not because they said that no children allowed. Somebody has come, or maybe sometimes, you know, children, for those of us who have children, sometimes their moods are just different. There's a day they'll just come and say they don't even want to go to Sunday school. It's a way of talking to them, encouraging them. And, you know, like in the banking hall, for instance, I will have to be bringing professional experiences here to help. It's also a professional setting. So sometimes on my desk, or even in my drawer, I would have candy, I would have biscuits. A child will come, they are crying. Even to take her to the children's service, just offer them, oh, come, I can give you candy, I can give you a balloon. You know, find ways to make people feel comfortable, because you are setting the tone for the service as an usher. That's one of the things you need to remember. Don't think that the service depends on, which is what most of us think. The service depends on intercessors. It depends on the choir. It depends on the preaching. But for someone who is coming to church, not everybody is coming to church that day to seek, you know, let me say, a tangible miracle. That you are praying that, you know, at the end of this service, I want to see, you know, healing. Yes, that's a tangible miracle. But for somebody, that healing may be, like Nas said, it may be a hug. It may just even be the fact that you said you are looking gorgeous. Maybe for that person, the whole week has been the most stressful they've ever experienced. But as soon as they walked in, the way the usher just receives the person, I'm happy to see you in church today. Did you have a good week? You may have time to ask the person that, especially if the person comes early. That question alone, or that response alone, could just change someone's day. And for someone, that's where your miracle is. You know? So let me just ship this in that when you are coming to church, not just as an usher, but as a church member, you don't want to say, I'm coming, I like praise and worship. Some people come to church when we are given offertory. Sometimes when I'm sitting in church and I see people enter like that, I've told myself that I have to stop where I sit in church, because I usually sit at the back. So sometimes when I see people coming like that, I'm like, you know, how are you? Or people just come for the preaching. But I always tell people, you don't know where your miracle is going to come from. You don't know where God is going to speak to you. It may be through an usher. And you are the first point of contact, and you set the tone for the service. So let's not forget that we set the tone for the service. Our ministry is very important. And Nas said it, Linda said it, make sure you are ready yourself. You cannot lead people when you yourself haven't been led. There's something I tell my team members, that we all have our problems. The fact that maybe you've even seen me here, standing here today, this morning, smiling, it doesn't mean that I have plenty problems. But as soon as I get to that door, I leave it at the doorstep. And then I come and I serve wholeheartedly. I give to God my best. I always tell people that if you're not ready to give your 100%, please don't give your 80%. God is not looking for people who give 80%. He's looking for people who give 100%. If you can get to work at 6:45 because the banking hall opens at 8 o'clock, what's your excuse? What time does our service start? Let's do a little quiz. 9:30. What time do we get here? What time have we been getting here? Please, some of these things, we don't have to let our pastors come and say, this is a growing church, it's a small church. I always tell people, my team members, they'll tell you, Amanda, they'll tell you, after the service, I'll call you and I'll ask you, if you're not ready, please sit down. If you're not ready to serve, sit down. It's very simple. I think that because we think that it's church, sometimes there's a tendency of, trying to, manage the situation and making it look like God is not looking for those kind of people. He's not looking for people who are qualified. He's looking for people who are committed. If you don't remember anything at all, remember that God is looking for your commitment more than your qualification. There are a lot of people. And to answer the question that said, can anybody be an usher? I believe she answered that question very well. It's a yes and no. Anybody can be an usher because God can call who is not qualified. The Bible says that he takes the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And out of the mouth of babes and sucklings, he has ordained strength. So you have no excuse. You have no excuse at all. God can take anybody and work with anybody at any point in time. Your availability is what matters to God. So don't joke with this ministry that you have been called to, what you have been called to do. However, I believe that there are certain people who are cut out for certain roles. Everybody has their strengths, everybody has their weaknesses. So if maybe you call me to come and dance, I won't be able to do it. But if maybe you call me to come and help, usher, protocol, event, yes, then, my strength. So I will perform better, So I believe that not everybody is called to be an usher, and especially for the protocol department. I don't know if here it's one department. From where we are, it's two separate departments. So we have the protocol team, and then we have the ushers. So our protocol team basically deals with our guest services, our pastors, guest ministers and all of that. But for our ushers, like I said, we have the car park attendants, we have the greeters, we have the host team, we have the welcome team and the first timers team. So we have it as two separate. But sometimes when it's a small church, like they said, you serve in all departments, you do a little bit of everything. So I'll quickly go through the qualities of an usher. And I think Linda mentioned that as well. The fruits of the Spirit as an usher. What are the fruits of the Spirit? Let's do a quick quiz. Quick one, Bible study. Fruits of the Spirit. Oh, everyone should say one. Can someone help me with the microphone? Everyone should say one. How many are there? Hey, we have some Bible scholars ADF. Reverend. Okay. Love. Good. You cannot love others. Okay, 1 minute. You cannot love others when you don't love yourself. And it shows when you have love, when you're standing there, you're ushering someone, you're meeting someone, the person can tell. If you love someone, when you see the person, like those of you who are dating and things, when you see the person that you love, and I should go there. When you see someone you love, your demeanor is different, and you should love everybody in the house of God. You're not bringing your mood from the house here. You're not bringing that fight that you had or that problem that you have. You are bringing love, greater love, the kind of love that God shows to everyone. So you come when your heart is full of love. It's easy to love people. So love. Joy. Joy is happiness within you. It's not dependent on the things that are around you. That's the thing about joy. Well, you're happy because things around you are working, but the joy and the joy of the Lord, once you have joy, it will show. It will show. And you'll be able to translate it to other people. Hey. Long-suffering. Long-suffering can also be patience, right? Long-suffering is patience. Difficult congregants. Let's go there again. Yes, so sometimes you just have to be very patient. Just tell yourself, keep your cool. And the thing about, difficult people is that you have to expect it. It's good to expect it. Don't think that everybody is like you or everybody is because it's church. The church is full of people who are sick. We all came here to find something. So it's important to have long-suffering patience. Be patient with people when they come and then, they are doing, and I don't want to sit here, I don't want to do this. Just take your time. Be patient. Just know that this is a ministry. Through what you are saying to the person, through what you are doing to the person, you are changing lives, you are transforming destinies. So you have to be patient. You have to take your time with everyone. Don't rush things. Don't talk to people by heart. Just be patient with the person. Amen. Okay. Peace. Calmness. You add peace to everything. When you are calm, I'm naturally not a very calm person. Like I'm calm. I'm collected, but I'm not too calm. Sometimes I get anxious. I want things done in a certain kind of way, and it's with people who do events. I think that's the thing. So you kind of want things a certain kind of way. But when you are calm, there's something about being calm that sometimes just diffuses everything around you. So can you imagine somebody came and maybe the examples you were giving, the person, hey, they are just standing there quietly. When the person finishes nicely, I understand what you are saying, but all I was trying to tell you is, please, let's do this. Or please, can I assist you to the back where we can talk further and let's see how best we can manage this. Sometimes there's just a way that when someone is calm, it just diffuses everything. It's not because two wrongs don't make a right. If the person is shouting, you are shouting, hey, at the end of the day, we don't even achieve anything. So peace.
Self-control.
It's a very important one. Those of us who lack self-control, pray that the Holy Spirit will give you guidance. Pray that the Holy Spirit will give you self-control because, I think it was Lena that was saying it, because everybody has their limits. There's only so much that anyone can take. I have a dispatch rider just last week. I have a little business. So he was supposed to dispatch something to one of my customers. And then the customer called me and said, the dispatch rider, the price he was giving me was too high. So I said, oh, I'll talk to him. So as soon as I called him, he said, Madam, and I said, oh, Richmond, he's the calmest person I know. So the whole thing was surprising. But later when I was thinking about it, I was talking to my husband about it, he was like, you know what? The woman must have stretched him because everybody has the limits. Everybody has so much they can take. So if you stretch someone beyond what they can take, they break. It's like an elastic. When you pull it too much, at a point, it will tear. So exercise self-control. I know sometimes it's difficult, but it's church. So sometimes you have to exude a lot of grace in the things that you do, and you pray for the Holy Spirit's guiding. Next. Kindness. Be kind to someone. Sometimes, ushers, we are not kind. We are not. Let me say it in the So I think Na gave another example. I'll give an example, and I experienced it. So it's something I always tell the ushers. Somebody is coming from the entrance. The person is holding a bag, or sometimes, especially the nursing mothers. Sometimes we are even clumsy ourselves because we are trying to figure it out. I remember when we were in our old building, before we came to where we are now. I'm a mother of twins, so I have two beautiful girls and a boy. Receive it. Are you sure you are ready for it? So I remember I came to church one day and I was holding one of the girls. I think either my husband was holding one and I was holding a bag. The usher came. Oh, hello, Troy. It's been nice. It's nice to see. They couldn't even offer to hold. And I remember that thing. I don't think it's something I can ever forget. So it's good because it always makes me conscious when I see people like that. Because one of my friends said something. She said in Ghana, when you are pregnant, people are nicer to you than when you give birth. When you are pregnant and you go to the banquet hall, they'll serve you first. But when your child is crying, they don't mind you. But those are things you have to be kind to people. Offer to hold their bags. Offer to not every baby may come to you, but if you can, offer to take the child to the children's service. And some of us were asking questions about, you are busy and, when you are busy doing something and someone, I don't think you can be that busy. You can be busy, but and all of us that are here, you can take this message to the other church members. Everyone can be an usher. You are not necessarily part of the ushering department, but as a leader, as a church member, as a church worker, if you see something that's not going well, it's not that, hey, because I'm not in the ushering department, I'm part of music. So, and a lot of us have that attitude. But it's important that you can help someone. Oh, can I assist your child to the children's service department? While the person just, puts themselves together, or someone is coughing. Sometimes, I don't know, I think it's a Ghanaian thing, it's an African thing. Someone is even coughing. Can I offer you a bottle of water? We don't do that, but let's show kindness. It's very, very important. So yes, kindness. Are we done? This is one of my favorites. Faithfulness. You have to be faithful in the little things. I used to tell people in my office, I worked in one of the banks. I don't want to mention the name, but there was a culture of, I don't even know, somebody brought everybody there. So there's always this culture of, is the work for your father? Why are you doing this one? I'm not supposed to do it. But yet they were always bickering about not being promoted. So one day I called one of the, she became my friend. So I called and I said, you know what? It's unfortunate that you're allowing the culture of the space that you find yourself in to rub off on you. Because you are praying to God for promotion. You are asking for promotion. But right now, if the promotion comes, are you sure you can sit in that position? Are you sure you can wear that cap that you are praying for? Because for a lot of us, you are waiting to be maybe head usher, head of before you start working. No. But God looks at the little things. The little things that you are doing that you feel like nobody sees. The things that you are doing in secret. God is going to reward you openly for it. So you don't have to despise the things that you are doing and, think that, oh, I'll be committed when I become head. If right now, as a team member, you cannot play in the team, you think when you become the head, you haven't built that culture. If you don't build the culture, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, it's a habit. You are what you repeatedly do. So if you are repeatedly coming to church late, no matter what, when they give you a position, you still come to church late. Because you haven't built that culture. So it's important that you are faithful. You are faithful in the little things. The Bible talks about the parable of the talents. To the one that he gave one, he said, because you gave me one, I hid it. He didn't do anything to it. You are not faithful in the little things. How can God entrust you with big things? And Linda was saying, for some people, it's a means to an end. This may not be your end, the fact that you are ushering. When I started Cornerstone, I wasn't head of events. I was a church. In fact, sometimes I wish I was even, I just went back to being a church member and just sitting down and enjoying. Because sometimes people don't know what happens in the background. But God sees the things that you feel like you do in secret. You come on Saturdays, you come and prepare the place. You come and clean chairs. For some of us, what we like is face service. So that we'll do it when the guest ministers are coming. Then you see that they are running all over the place, busy. But let me be quick to say this. Charity begins at home, first of all. So if you don't learn to honor the people that you have, it's difficult to extend it to outsiders. If, for instance, your pastors come and you don't welcome them at the entrance, you don't welcome them at the car park, you don't see them to their seats, you don't offer them water. When they close church, you don't wait for them to go to their cars before you go home. It's difficult when a guest minister comes because then it's a staged thing. You are what you repeatedly do. So if you are going to be known for excellence, it has to be excellence on every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Friday, midweek service. As an usher, you are what you repeatedly do. If you are going to be known for excellence, it has to be every day. It's not only when guest ministers are coming. You will miss some of the things because the thing you are not used to it. So you are now coming to prepare, hey, what should we do? When this one comes, we'll do it. But you will forget it. But if it's something that you are doing, it becomes very easy. So it's important that you honor your pastors here. Whatever it is that you want to be doing for people, you have to be able to do it in your church. Are we okay? I was asked to talk about dressing. Dressing and general appearance of an usher, a protocol team member. Be fashionable, but be decent. Let's not leave the dressing to the worldly people. Let's look good. Let's look nice. Let's come dressed up, looking good. Appearance. You're not looking scruffy. Your hair is combed. You're smelling good. You don't want to be opening the door for somebody, and because of the way the person smelled something, they are leaving the church. Please. It's very important. How you dress, how you look. You are wearing your name tag. It's very important. When somebody enters and they see you, I think Na said that ushers are known to be dressed nicely all the time. Yeah, and it's good because you are the first point of contact. So if I come and I see you, I'm happy to see you. Oh, for somebody, the person may even come to church because Charlie, the lady dresses well. I want to see what she wear this Sunday. It inspires the person to be better. Yeah, you know. So dressing and general appearance is also very, very important. I'll talk briefly about overflow and emergency situations. Then I'll go deep into the protocol issues. When you have overflow, it's important that as an usher, you are always ready, always on your toes. So if you see that maybe it's a special event that you're having, and then you notice at a point that people are coming in, please, as ushers, as church workers, as church members, sometimes you have to get up for other people to sit down. So before the extra chairs are being, because you are a small church, and Cornerstone is a small church too, sometimes you don't even have the chairs to come and put there for people. Or maybe you have the chairs, but it's not here. Maybe your storage is somewhere else, so you are now organizing it. You see that people are coming, first timers, quickly. Some of these things, don't wait for your pastor to tell you. Don't even wait for your head of ushering to tell you that please get up, so that as soon as you start seeing, maybe you're sitting at the back, you start seeing that, oh, there's a new member at the back. The person doesn't have anywhere. Get up, offer the person a seat. You know, ask. And anytime you can offer help, do so. It's not because you're not an usher, or maybe you play the instruments and you are sitting at the back, and then you see that they're even looking for chairs. You know, help someone, bring a chair inside. Because these things are emergency situations, like we are saying. So it's not expected, but take initiative. If you see that maybe that day, just like you're saying, at Cornerstone, we are not conventional. We're very creative. And I believe Edify is the same. We're all very young and, you know. So anything can happen in the middle of the service. It could be a special offertory. It could be a special prayer. It could be anything. As an usher, you should always be ready. It's not that, oh, usually pastor says the prayer before communion, so we didn't realize it, so we didn't share communion or something like that. No. As soon as you see that, you get there. You should be very attentive as well, because if you are part of the service, then you will know what is going on. So one of the ways you can also do this as the head of the ushering team is to also make sure that you are decentralizing your processes. So you can put, for instance, 2 people in charge of this section, this in charge of this section, this person in charge of the other section. So if maybe they are serving communion and then you are time bound, and you know, the communion, you see that this row, some people are at the back, because you finished, you are standing there. Me, I finished my side. No, you don't do that. You go to the next row, you can help out. Just make sure everybody has communion just before the communion service starts. There are times there will be medical emergencies. I hear a lot of doctors here. I don't know if it's because I'm on Kolibu campus. So for medical emergencies, you just quickly collate with whoever it is who is in charge, your medical team or something. If there's a doctor, nurse around, you just quickly you move the person to the back so that it doesn't disrupt the service, because there are lots of things that can disrupt the service, and this is one of them. You know, sometimes there are security emergencies as well, which are not very common, security, fire, and things. But as a church, I think that I'm sure your pastor has it in plan or is already doing it. You know, things like fire training, drills, evacuation. It's very important. Most of the time we take it for granted that because it's church, it won't happen. Even when the lights go out, you know, things like that. We have to have policies and things in place to make sure that we're able to deal with these emergencies as and when they come in. Okay. Let me go to guest ministers, handling guest ministers and church leaders. So I'll divide it into internal and external. And I'll start with the internal. And for internal, just like I said, if you don't do it for your pastors, please. Is it Augustina? Yeah, the head of ushering, right? Let's start doing it. We have pre-service in Cornerstone. We have pre-service. Then we have service itself. Then we have post-service. So when it comes to pre-service, for internal, I'm talking about your pastors, if you have church elders or deacons or whoever the leaders may be. For pre-service, usually before the service would have started or before Sunday, you would have done your seating arrangements, everything that needs to be done. Your office has to be set up. The church office has to be set up. The pastor's office has to be set up. Whatever it is that pastor will need for Sunday service, you have to make sure that it's available. For service itself, so for pre-service as well, so you are putting on schedule for your protocol team. So like I was saying, in Cornerstone, protocol will handle the pastors. So your protocol team, who is pastor's protocol for this Sunday? You have to put, sometimes people don't like responsibility. So if you just leave it open that, we know that when pastor comes, someone has to protocol him, it makes it a bit difficult. It's better to have a schedule. So we have a schedule for this Sunday, tomorrow is what, 8th June? 8th of June, Barbara is protocoling lady pastor. What name can I use? Let me use my husband's name. Gideon is protocoling, there's a Gideon. Okay. So Gideon is protocoling Reverend Agbi. So you have to have a schedule. Let's have a schedule so that people know that I am protocoling. And as a protocol member, as an ushering member, you have to be in church before they come to church. For ushers, you should have debriefing sessions every Sunday morning, 30 minutes before time. You have your debriefing session. Today is a communion service, so this and this and this. Today is first fruit or tithe, so this is this and this and this. This is how the service will go. Today is a special something, or today there's a naming ceremony, or today there's a guest speaker, so this is how it will go. Or today we have, the Sundays after when people get married. So we may have more people. So let's reserve these first few seats. Have debriefing sessions before and after service. It's very important. It helps you know what to do, and then it helps you know what to correct after service. So debriefing sessions for ushers are very important. Make sure you are getting here 30 minutes before time. Have in place measures that ensure professionalism. So you should be able to say that if you don't come to church by 7:30, you are not ushering. It's okay to say that, because the thing is, the people that don't come, they will cause the confusion. And maybe you've told them that this person is in charge of this section. This person is doing this. Then by the time you realize, they've taken Thanksgiving envelope when it's time for first fruit or something like that. So it's very important to have debriefing sessions and then, pray before. You pray into the service. So people who don't come for prayer before, you don't. It's like in the Orthodox churches. If you don't pray before, you don't robe. That's what they say. And it's normal. But here it's like, I think people sometimes feel like, we're a small church, we don't have the numbers. No, God will build his church. Forget about every other person. Those who think they are the most important and they won't show up early. We can do without them. So have that in place. Have systems in place. Once you have systems, everything works out well. So let's have debriefing sessions for ushers. For protocol, your pastor can't get here before you. And my protocol team members know. So if they don't come after service, I will talk about it small. Not plenty. But we have a schedule. So as the head of the protocol team, you have to call people to say, I hope you're on time, because you are in charge of pastors today. So you have to make sure everything has been done. Is pastor's office ready? So by the time pastors get to the car park, you should be standing there opening the door for them, welcoming them. It's only when you do that you can do it for guest ministers. Because it becomes a part of you. So it's not now that you're having a program, so you come to do training, different training. You will miss some of the things because you are what you repeatedly do. So it's very important. When your pastors come, welcome them to church. When somebody comes to your house, you open the gates for them. You open the door for them and you welcome them. Then they go. And I'm sure your pastors will come early. Sometimes they have time to themselves. Is there anything you would need? Can we offer you some tea, some water? Because sometimes maybe they've gone to preach the day before, they've even lost their voice. And for Cornerstone, people will say, can I have some tea with lemon or something? Sometimes their voices, it's very normal. So we take it for granted because we are also in a setting, because of technology and advancements, we are very close to our pastors. So we're able to walk up to them, and sometimes we take it for granted. But let's give Anna where Anna is due. It's important. So that will be for pre-service. For pre-service as well, your liturgy, your liturgy should, when pastors come, it's not now that we are printing liturgies. liturgy should be ready in their folder, placed by their chairs or their tables, so that when they come, they pick the liturgy. We also have our announcements ready. Usually, the pre-service pack has the liturgy and the announcements. So that it's not now that, sometimes, yes, it's a human institution, things will come up. So you can quickly slip it on a note and, put it by his table or something. But usually we have our liturgy and our announcements ready for the service. So for pre-service. And then during service as well, I don't know if that's the culture here, but usually protocol members sit directly behind the pastors. There's a reason for that. So that if they need something immediately, they don't now have to be looking left and right. So protocol members usually sit behind pastors. If your pastor is a male, it's advisable to use the males. For the lady pastors, it's advisable to use the females. So protocol members sit behind the pastors. There's a lot of intentionality that sometimes we need to add to our service. There are certain things that you see in churches you think is nice, but it's very intentional. So for instance, in Cornerstone, we have people we call the atmosphere drivers. So, for instance, the way you are saying that sometimes people don't want to sit in front is very normal. It's not out of place at all. You're not the first to experience it. But you will have people too who can sit in front and be comfortable. Identify those people. As your church is going, you will get those people. They may not even be leaders. They may not be leaders in the church, but it just to fill up those spaces in front. So you have those seat fillers. You have atmosphere guys. People, you don't want people to, sometimes you don't want people who come and sit in front and they're even singing, they don't sing. They are dancing, they don't dance. Open your Bible, they will not open. It's like someone has forced them to come and sit there. So all these things are part. You have to be intentional about it. In the background, you are doing a lot of work. So for protocol, you have to have people who sit behind your pastors every Sunday. It's important. And the reason why that is also important is that it has to be consistent so that they know that when pastor turns around, they know the things that pastor needs. So if it's not there, they quickly get up. Or if pastor says, I left my iPad in the office, they know where. It's not now that you go and come back. Please, I've looked there. Where did you put it? All those things are very distracting, So it's very important that we have those people who sit directly behind your pastors. It's also good for, content. You don't want people to be taking pictures and then behind your pastors, there's nobody sitting there. Or the front seats are empty. They are all part of it. It's intentional. We intentionally do those things. So we have people who come to church on Sunday and you know that that's where they sit. It also helps with attendance. You know they are sitting behind pastor. You won't come to church. Yeah, it's a small church, it's a growing church. So some of these things, we have to be very, very intentional about them. And so for service as well, you escort pastors to their seats. And when service is over, you pick up their things, you take it to the office. When they come to the office, you do your green room things that you're supposed to do. So that's usually for post-service. After service, you offer them, if it's water, juice, whatever the culture is in your church, you do that. Then we have, so I think that's about it for internal. If I'm moving too fast or you have a question, I think there's going to be a session for questions, right? So I should flow. Thank you. Okay, so for the external, this can be very important. But it's something that you do in your church. It's very easy to. So for external, I group it into pre-engagement, pre-service, service itself, and post-service. The pre-engagement is very, very, very important. So, for instance, if you're having a program, a special event in the year, maybe I'm sure at the beginning of the year, you have all your programs and your events. So, as for me, my task as a head of events, when we have these programs, I communicate it to the head of protocol. So, I'm not the head of protocol, I'm the head of events and guest services. So, I have an HOD. So the head of protocol, it helps us because the work is plenty. You think it's because it's a small church, but it's important to, sometimes, Ghanaians, we like that thing, we are doing it all, but it doesn't work out. It's good when everybody is a part of it, so that when you're also not there, people can take up that space easily. So for pre-engagement, we start with the letters of engagement. If, for instance, we're having an event, and I know that Reverend Agui is supposed to come, I won't wait till, let's say, a week to send him a letter. No. Obviously, because of relationship and other things, he may contact our pastors may contact him directly that, just to find out his availability and his interest. But after that, there'll be a formal correspondence in the form of an email or a hard copy letter delivered to him personally to state the date, the program, and everything the program entails, basically. So for the pre-engagement, we do the letters of engagement. Once those letters are sent out, I call this the establishing of contact and rapport. If pastors are dealing with Reverend Albert, I'm not going to also call him. Reverend Albert, PN and PH have called you. No, Reverend Albert also works with a team. So, my pastors may have the contact or not. But once I get the contact of his personal assistant, I also reach out to the personal assistant and let them know that my name is Ifwa, my name is Trewa, I'm calling from ICGC. I am just establishing contact with you concerning administration that Reverend Albert is going to be doing on this date. If you need any further information, I'm the person to contact. You have established that contact with them. They know that if for anything, if now Reverend Albert needs anything, he can talk to someone and say, oh, Mary, can you call Trewa to say this and this and this to confirm? So establishing rapport and relationship is very important. Also, you have travel arrangements. If the minister is coming from outside of Accra or outside Ghana, usually you have to know things like when he's setting off, when he's getting here. And when it comes to travel arrangements, it can be for even people who are coming from Accra. If, for instance, I have been invited to speak, let me not use myself. Let me say I've invited Na to speak at a program. So what I will then do is we have a form that we usually send out. I can share it with you if you are interested afterwards. It's called the guest minister's information. So we will take the number, we'll take the contact person. We take details like allergies because when people come, you host them. So you don't want to give any kind of food. You have to let the person know that you are thinking about the person. So we ask for information like allergies. Is the person allergic to anything? Does the person prefer, what is your preference? So usually we'll ask, what do you want before service? Because when the person gets to the church, he will sit down before, sometimes he joins the main service. So what would you prefer? Would you want a bottle of water? Something that would make your experience very comfortable. So maybe we have one of the speakers, and when he's come, he asks for a white face towel. So we always provide it. Some will ask for anointing oil. Whatever it's detail that you need, we ask for that. Another important thing that you need to ask for your guest ministers is the number of people they come with is very important. Because for some people, just like, the department that you are dealing with is for first-timers, it's for church members. But sometimes people are, because you haven't even been there before. Of course, I haven't been here before, so I decided to come with Amanda just to have, somebody to be comfortable with. But it's important to know so that when the people come, you don't also just look at their faces and then you can't even say, oh, we bought only one bottle of water because we didn't know. For sometimes, the person may be coming with their spouse. It's important to get those details so that you'll be able to know, what arrangements, if it's food, what you are putting in place for them, what they prefer to eat. Sometimes the person may be vegetarian. The person may not be a vegetarian, but maybe I don't eat fish. So we get all those information in our guest minister's information form, and then we do the travel arrangements. So all those details will come. For travel arrangements, the reason why we take it is that when you have a guest minister coming, it is only befitting that you meet the person either at the airport or at the bus terminal. So you have to have protocol there. Again, protocol will put someone on schedule to say, today, Alice is the one who is receiving, Lady Pastor when she gets here. She will take her to the hotel. And of course, if somebody is coming from out of Accra and is sleeping over, you have to make sure that their travel arrangements are good. Like Linda said, you have to make sure the hotel is in good condition. It's a nice hotel. Usually what we do is that if we have a guest minister, I go ahead and I check them in. It's not now that they get, I find it very cumbersome that a guest minister gets there and then, at the counter. So we take details like your Ghana card details because you need such things when you're checking in a client. So we check them in. If possible, you even take the room key. So usually, even though it's a hotel and they've done it, as a protocol team member, you have to make sure the room is in order. So we go to the room. We also do something we call the courtesy basket. So by the time the guest minister comes there, there's a whole welcome, it's like a welcome basket. You can put anything you want inside. You can put like maybe toothpaste, a toothbrush. Not that the person needs it. It's courtesy, out of courtesy. You can put a basket of snacks. Depending on what the person filled on the form, we are able to know those details. Sometimes we put first aid. So paracetamol, something for your stomach ache. You know, the basic medical needs. You put things like that, mouthwash. Just make sure. And what we do, one of the things we do is also to put, so we put the liturgy for the service. So if you are coming for the service, whatever service you are coming for, the liturgy will also be in your hotel room. It's part of your starter pack. And it shows you what time the service starts, what time the service ends, and what time the person speaks. So it's a complete liturgy. It's important because sometimes some people want to be part of the whole service. For others to, they would want to pray, get themselves ready and prepare themselves before they come for the service. So it's important to let the person know these details. Always send your liturgy ahead to your guest ministers. It's very important so that they know what time they are speaking, for how many minutes, if there's praise and worship, if there's whatever it is. So it's usually part of the starter pack. And usually before they even come, we also let you know, if for instance I'm dealing with the person, I let them know that Amanda is going to meet you at the airport. So usually you have the number, so you can do that. Usually, if Amanda is meeting at the airport, there's also somebody waiting at the hotel to receive the person. So otherwise, you get to the hotel and then, what happens? It's like you're now figuring it out. So there's usually someone at the airport or at the bus terminal. There'll be someone at the hotel to receive him, take him to his room. Then you can also have arrangements for, transporting the person from their hotel room to the church and any other thing they will require. If you have to be providing them with lunch, one of the things we also put on our forms is the fact that you are free to order your lunch. Sometimes maybe the hotel food they give them, they don't like it, but they let us know so that you take care of them as well if there's anything. For people who come from out of Accra especially, there's sometimes they don't even know like the food joints and things. So it's important that you give them all this information, and then there's somebody constantly on standby, a telephone number. Usually for men, like I said, for men it's good to use the men, and for women it's good to use women because of gender issues. So yeah, that's about accommodation. Pre-service. So for pre-service, we have the welcome, which is also done by protocol. So usually when the guest minister gets to the car park, we'll have the car park attendants. So usually when we have programs, you have to reserve parking spaces as well. Reserve parking spaces for your guest ministers. You reserve the parking space so the car park attendants know that we are expecting this number of people. Even on our forms, we ask you how many cars you are coming with. It's important because in a place like Cornerstone, our car park is not too big, so that we know how to distribute the various spaces for different people, so that we say that, okay, all church workers today, please park at this side so that we can make way for our guests. You don't want your guests to come and they'll be struggling with parking space. So it's important that you ask such questions. And like I said, I can share the form with you if you're interested later. So we do the welcome at the end. Usually, your protocol head should be coordinating with, let's say somebody. If I'm coming and maybe I'm coming with Amanda, your protocol head should be communicating with Amanda to say, please, are you still on time? And sometimes the thing about calling before time is, it's not because you are anxious or something, but anything can happen. Emergencies happen. Maybe the person is even running late. So it's good to call and say, I'm just calling on our program today, which starts at 10 a.m. I just want to know if you'll still be on time. Because sometimes, if for any reason our guest ministers are not on time, we tweak our service a little bit so that it doesn't affect the service. But if you don't know this, then it's like, hey, he's next to speak. Then what are we doing? What should we do? Pastor, what should we do? Should we do praise and no? But if you had known in advance, you say, okay, today praise and worship will be 30 minutes instead of 20 minutes, just to accommodate for that 10 minutes extra time that the person will be late for. So it's important that you communicate. You let the person know. So we in Cornerstone, we actually, sometimes you share your ETA with us so that 5 minutes to time, because don't forget, protocol and ushers are part of the service. Like they rightly said, you have to also be a part of the service. So 5 minutes to time, you move, because we are upstairs, you move downstairs to wait for them. when the guest minister comes, respectfully, you open the door, you take anything they may need. Then we have our ushers lined up as well, so people are welcoming them at every stage. When they come inside, you welcome them, you let them know these are your washrooms if you need to use a washroom. It's very important. Linda mentioned that you let them know where the washrooms are. You ask them if they would like to eat anything or drink anything. Usually they would have told you this in their form, but if for anything, for any reason, something changes, then, you just switch it up. Then you inform your pastors. Your pastors will come and welcome them, and they will decide if they want to go into the service immediately or they need some time to breathe and just put themselves together. So that's also very important. And then we have the green room set up. So the green room is basically where we host our guests. You will have a green room, and then you can have another room for sometimes when they come with other people. If it's, for instance, a musical concert and you're inviting maybe Joe Metal, he may come with his band. We cannot host all of them in the same space. So you host maybe Joe Metal with pastors, you host the band separately, but you make sure that the green room is always up and doing, it's always clean, there's food, there's water, and there's always someone stationed in the green room to be able to take care of their needs at all points. So for pre-service, you make sure your green room is ready as well, because if they come and they need water, anything they need, tea, whatever it is. And then at the point where they enter the green room, there's a liturgy in the green room as well, because they can't carry their liturgy from the hotel. That one is just to give them an idea of timing and everything. But in the green room, we have a liturgy as well. And for service, you just have to make sure all logistics are ready. There are microphones they are going to use. If you have the luxury of multiple microphones, great. So you put their microphones aside by them, their water, whatever it is they need for the service, you make sure it's available. Seating arrangements, the people they come with, you have to take them into consideration so that you leave space for people. If they let you know how many people, sometimes they'll go over their numbers, sometimes it will be below, but make sure there's always arrangements for people that they come with. And then usually for post-service, it's just the green room and the pastor's engagement. So, they sit together, chit-chat. Protocol member is always on standby outside to make sure whatever it is that they need is being attended to. And for the pastoral engagement, sometimes you realize that when there are guest ministers, if, for instance, Reverend Albert comes to my church, because I know him, I want to say hello to him. You have to be able to manage that very well. So that it's not just so many, because he's also with your pastors, so you have to manage it very well. But make sure you're not rude to people, because people can take offense easily. That I wanted to even say hello, and he's my friend, and things like that. But it's important that you manage them well and just make sure they see whoever it is that they need to see. And Linda spoke about something very important, pastors' food and things. Not everybody can handle pastors' food. People have bad intentions. It's not that we're in church, so you feel like everybody is like you. You have to make sure that things like that are handled well. And even for your pastors, even gifts. When people bring gifts, you have to be very careful. It's not, everybody should not just be able to walk to pastor's office and go and give the gift to them. It should go through the protocol team before they get things like that. So that's also very important. And then, usually when we're having guest ministers, some of the departments that we work together with, you have to be mindful of them so that you don't miss anything. You have to work with media on flyers and everything, because usually sometimes if you need like maybe a picture, it has to come from the protocol team. So I will contact Reverend Albert for his picture, send it to media team to make sure that the flyers are ready, the communication is going out. The protocol works with the green room, travel arrangements, welcome team. You also have to work with housekeeping to make sure our washrooms are clean, general appearance, everything is pepe, nothing is, lying haywire. You also work with admin, because our admin deals with liturgies and things like that. You also work with ushers. Protocol works very closely with ushers. For instance, seating arrangements is very, very important to make sure that people are seated well. People, like, the service is not being disrupted. People come on time. Sometimes you also have to work with teams like the follow-up team. That's what I was talking about. So a follow-up team, sometimes before an event or before a service, you call people personally. I'm hoping to see you in church tomorrow. Are you going to come for first or second service? Don't miss out. All these things are things you have to do in the background to make sure that people are showing up for church. People don't just show up, trust me. You didn't just come to edify. You saw something or somebody invited you. So people don't just show up. There's a lot of work that goes into all these things. When you're having an event, if you have an event and nobody comes, then what's the use of the event? If you're having a church program, people have to show up. So there's a lot of work that has to go in place. And for the protocol team or like events and guest services, this has to be on your heart. So there are a few things I want to talk about that will make your ushering experience better. Maintain proper appearance and personal hygiene at all times is very important. The way you look, the way you present yourself. You can't be serving your pastors and you are dressing anyhow. It's not right. You have to make sure that you are doing everything out of respect and out of honor. You have to show up on time. I cannot emphasize this enough. Please, let's not be late to church. Let's show up on time. When we need to show up, let's show up. When you need to sacrifice. Sometimes, I don't know about here, but sometimes you have an event, maybe a conference, a church service or something. It goes late into the night. You have to wait. You live far away. But God sees all those things that you are doing. The word of God says that your labor of love will never be in vain. Sometimes you think that you are doing things and people are not seeing it, and God will reward you publicly. Whatever it is that you are doing in secret for God, God sees. He never forgets. That's one of the things that you should always keep in mind. And whatever it is that you are doing, do it wholeheartedly. The Bible says that do everything without grumbling. Do it as a service unto God and not unto man. If it's for man that we are doing it, a lot of us will stop these things. But if you realize that your service is truly to God and not to man, you have a different posture towards everything that you are doing. And as a leader, if you feel like you're a leader, always remember and keep it at the back of your mind that the most important type of leadership is servant leadership. So you cannot be a leader and not be ready to serve. Being a leader is not just coming to come and give instructions. Sometimes it means carrying the chairs yourself. It means cleaning the chairs yourself. Making sure the toilet is clean. It's very, very important. So please, let's make sure that whatever we are doing, whatever we are sacrificing, whatever you are committed to, give it your 100%. If you are not ready to give it your 100%, please don't do it. Don't do it at all. It's very, very important. If you are not, please, let's also be professional. If you know that for any reason you can't make it to church, you're on schedule, please inform your leader. It helps. It helps in planning. It helps us to know that, today the person is not in church, so we have to do it this way. It also helps if maybe you are sick and sometimes, church heads, people have so much church heads, and I was sick and nobody asked of me, but you didn't even tell anybody that you were sick. People are not magicians. They will not know. So if you know you won't be able to come to church because, you are sick or my mom is not feeling well, call. Today I'm not going to be able to come to church. My mom is not feeling well. It helps us. Intercessors will pray for you. The pastors can visit. Follow-up team can visit. But if you are there, then every day, church, you will keep jumping from one church to another. Let me promise you, you will not find the perfect place. Because there's no perfection in the body of Christ. We haven't been called to perfection. So let's keep that in mind as well. And then, as ushers, as protocol, make your department interesting. Augustina, this is to you. Organize parties for them. After an event, when I can see you are nodding. I know I owe my people some party after a very big event we've had. I've promised them. They know that I'll do it for them too. When they are birthday, celebrate each other. Be there for each other. This is a family. You won't get it anywhere else. Sometimes your church family may become closer to you than any other family you ever experience. So it's very important. And this is the house of God. We are the body of Christ. We are different parts in the body. We all come together to make it one. So please, let's be united. And I always say this to people. When we win, we all win. When we lose, we all lose. I won't come and say that today, didn't do this, so it's only now. I'll say protocol. What happened today? So keep it in mind that when you win, you all win. And have that positive attitude. Smile. Learn to talk to people and learn people's names. Don't be saying, excuse me. Every day, excuse me. You're an usher. So hello, you're welcome. Amanda, it's good to see you. Priscilla, I didn't see you last week. Are you okay? Learn people's names and let it be a personal relationship. And people truly appreciate that. So on that note, I just want to thank you all for your attention.
Thank you for listening to the sermons of Reverend Dr. Albert Agbi. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Edify Church Life. Listen to more of his sermons on our Telegram at Edify Sermons and Edify Church Spotify platforms. Thanks for being a part of our Edify Church family. Be blessed by this word of God.